first of all, I would say that there has to be a fundamental change in the dynamics and the understanding of where the power lies. We keep talking about the fact that the structure of society is built on pyramids and pyramidal power, with the few at the top dictating to the rest of the pyramid. But what tends to happen is we look at the top of the pyramid for the power in the pyramid, but that ain't where the power is. The real power in the pyramid is at the base. That's what's holding the capstone, the apparent point of power, where it is. And what they've done is done a massive mind game upon the human consciousness and persuade us that they have the power, that the dark suits and the famous people and the people with letters after their name and names before their name, president, prime ministers, head of the World Bank, that this is where the power is. They have the power, but they don't. What this whole game is about is getting the mass of the people persuaded that that's where the power lies.
But there was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant.
One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
He's quite the motivational speaker, isn't he?
Let's ride!
So we look at them in awe. We think they're all powerful. There's nothing we can do because we're just Joe Public and we have no power. So we are giving our power away by the perception that we don't have it, but they do. It's all a mind game. And then you look at the pyramid structure, and you have the mass of the pyramid at the bottom, i.e. the mass of humanity, holding the elite up there. What are we doing? Well, this is a time when no backsides need to be on any fences. This is a time when we're deciding, are we going to be acquiescent and lay down in a barcoded mob, be controlled for the rest of our lives in ways that would make George Orwell wince? Or are we going to take this point, enough, line in the sand, here and no further? And that means not being on the sidelines anymore, not being on the other side of the road shouting even boo-hoo, it's terrible what you're doing, but actually getting across the road and getting involved. So we think that we can't challenge the law. Well, you know, you've got to be law-abiding. Well, why have you got to be law-abiding? If laws respect freedom and respect human civil rights, they respect fairness, they respect justice, then fine. But if they are imposed simply to take those things away, to dictate to the fine detail of people's lives, to make the system unjust so the money goes to the tiny few and gets sucked out of the majority population who are working harder and harder, more and more jobs just to stand still, while the bankers who have created this current economic mayhem at the top on purpose and lower down through sheer bloody greed, they are paying themselves massive bonuses based on borrowed money that our children and grandchildren will have to pay back. That's what the majority give their power away to the few. Now, when those laws are being introduced that are giving the people the rights to do this, that are saying there's one law for the few and there's another law for everyone else, that are taking terrorist laws in theory and applying them to the general population as it was always planned that they would do, then what are we doing obeying those laws? We should not be acquiescing to them. We should be refusing to obey them, refusing to acquiesce to them. This is not a conspiracy to enslave middle-class Americans or Jewish people or Muslims. It's a conspiracy to enslave all of us. And in dividing and ruling us, they have got us fighting and arguing among ourselves, which is the only way that a few can manipulate the many, by dividing the many in and on themselves. Let's unite, however, behind what affects us all, and what affects all our children and all our grandchildren, no matter what religion, what color, what creed, what income bracket, what culture. And that is the fact that our basic human rights are being eroded by the day. We're having a draconian, soulless, cold, callous, vindictive